Okay. Here we are finally. I'm using, probably figure out by the configuration here, I'm using OBS for the Mac and there's a delay. I should have remembered that from last time. There's a delay. And you have to, let me mute YouTube. You have to, not surprising, you have to coordinate your live YouTube with OBS, and they changed a few things. And you don't, at least this guy didn't figure it out until it was time to go live. So hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully everything is working fine. I'm going to go to the YouTube chat. There we go. Hi, Paul AWR. Hi, Jim. Great to see you. Let me just take another look here. All right. It says, OBS says, I am streaming at 60 frames per second. Wow, that's great. And I am using 9. No, it dropped down to 8.9% of my CPU capacity. So between 9 and 10%. That's awesome. That gives us room to spare. So, but what I'm saying about the frames per second is that's the rate at which OBS is capturing all this, sends it to YouTube. YouTube does whatever it wants with it. So you're probably not like, let me check. I highly doubt on YouTube, which is a great platform. I doubt you're viewing this at 60 frames per second, which is approaching 4K. You're probably seeing it at really low resolution. That's what YouTube tends to do when it first picks up the stream, and then it seems after a while it improves it. So YouTube captures it at a higher rate, but when it streams it initially, live anyway, it's low. But let me double check that. Oh yeah, it's a bit grainier than it is on OBS, but that's okay. That's okay. Hey Scott, good to see you. Well, not that I can see you. Good to see your text. So yeah, if you read the description or the ticker at the bottom, this is a lot of 55 average circulated Buffalo nickels. I thought I would just go through them, take a chance. Kind of feel bad. It looks like cost $8.28 to ship it. He didn't charge $8. He charged less than that. So yeah, just covered up the addresses here. Put that there. Thank you. You're very welcome. And it's stapled. Actually, kind of a clever way of doing it because you get a little protection of the cardboard. Hi, Lady Spitfire, and hi, Ogre Coins. Great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. All right, so idea is these are average circulated Buffalo nickels. I'm not expecting anything amazing. In fact, I think I put that in the ticker. But okay, they're 55 average circulated Buffalo nickels, but they all have dates on them. What does that mean? I don't know. Somebody can look at a date on a Buffalo nickel and you can barely see it and say, yep, it has a date. I suppose in fairness, if you can identify the date somehow, then you know what's going on with the coin. So let's take a look. There we are. There's our little pile. In fact, I can probably zoom in a little bit. But I'll put them on the microscope. So what you see over there is the microscope, and that's the document camera. So hello, hello, and that's the microscope below. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That's not a Buffalo. That's an 1899 Liberty V nickel. I say. And that's definitely oh, that has some issues. Scratch. Scratch. Some sort of staining. Rivendell coins. Buffalo nickels are some of my favorites to cherry pick at LCS. It's cool to see someone else like them. Yeah, I think it's a great design, and there are enough varieties out there. That's cool. There are enough varieties out there too that if you find the right one, You got a little, a valuable little coin there. Do you use the Cherry Picker's Guide at all? All right, well, let's just do this one at a time. This one looks like it's... Okay, here's a good example. So it's, you can see the 2 and 3, so you know it's 1923, but you can barely see it. But there's enough there to properly identify it. Liberty is absolutely worn into the rim. You don't see a whole lot of detail here on the braid or in the feathers. I would put this at, if I were generous, I guess I'd put this at good condition. I think I'd put it less than that. Ooh, I think the obverse looks a little better, but poor buffalo has some corrosion there. Let me take a look. Is that corrosion or is that a... That's not a cut or anything. Okay, that is strange, because if you look at that, I don't know if that's raised or not. No, that's a stain. I thought right there I could see a ridge, and I thought maybe that was... there was something going on there, but that's just a stain of some sort. Let me focus back out. There you go. So that is a Philadelphia. So my game plan is, yeah, and there's some staining there too. So 1923 Philadelphia. I mean, neat, but certainly nothing spectacular. The 23s are... I don't know, $1 maybe? I don't know what this would be worth. This would probably be in a junk bin. Not too bad. Oh, so what I'm going to do is, with this lot, I'm going to take the nicer ones. Nicer condition-wise, nicer if I find some low mintages. If I can get 40 of those, I'll put them in a tube and just put them aside, and the rest I'll just end up putting in my little friend up there. That's a Buffalo Bank. In fact, I think it has something in it already. Yeah. So it's a cast iron Buffalo Bank. Probably has some Buffalo nickels in it already. Anyway. And I didn't count these, but 2, I won't count them. Looks like a little more than 50, but maybe I am wrong. All right, let's look at the next one. So this looks to be a 1926. Yeah, why Fraser didn't change this, because on the back of the coin, if you know your Buffalo history, when they initially came out, where it says 5 cents, it was a mound, so this surface went pretty much all the way down to the rim, and then 5 cents was on top of it, and it wore out quickly. And the complaint was, well, it wasn't a complaint, it was the design. The mint didn't like it because it wore away the value of the coin. So Fraser kind of carved out this part on the master die and put 5 cents underneath it. So it's protected. It's protected by here, and it's protected by the rim of the coin, which is one of the, well, the primary purpose of the rim of a coin is to protect the details. So they didn't do the same sort of thing with the date, unfortunately, and a lot of Buffalo nickels are dateless, but you can make this out. 1926, and that's a Philadelphia. I mean, that's not a bad one. I don't see any staining on the back. Got a little, well, took a little hit there. But I'd put that at, well, maybe in a good day, that'd be good. Let's see, AWR, wasn't it you? Talking about a young girl finding a sword in a castle. Wow. Like a Civil War sword? Jim has an injured shoulder. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hard to type. Well, you take care of that yourself. I have this one has been kind of troubling me a little bit, but it's not injured. It's just, I think it just lifted something a little too hard. It's fine now, but yeah, it's surprising how, well, obviously everything's connected, but you get a little injury up here and then you feel it in your hands, and, you know, all of a sudden this part of your wrist is hurting, so. Well, they're building some woods on Cassville Road right beside the cemetery in downtown. I really want to stop and ask if I can metal detect there. That would be nice. I have too many reference information to look at. My favorite book references the braided dye varieties by Ron Pope. Wow, I'm not familiar with that. My little library's, well, most of it is over there. I don't have a book specifically for the buffalo nickels. I have the Cherry Picker's Guide is what I tend to reference, but that sounds like a specific reference for buffaloes. It's great. Um, do you ever use that liquid that brings back buffalo dates? Nicodate? I've never used it. No, I never have used it. But yeah, that is kind of amazing how you can have a buffalo nickel with, you look at it, you have no idea what the date is, and then it, if you don't know what nicodate is, folks, it's an acid, a mild acid, and it kind of eats away a little bit of that surface enough so that the date begins to appear. It's pretty interesting. So you just, if this didn't have a date on it, you'd put a drop right here, and it would just slowly spread out. You don't want to put too much on it, and the date appears, which is cool. That's neat. Okay, so we said this is a 26 Philadelphia. Again, nothing special, but kind of a neat one. I'll put that in the OK pile. So if they're over here, if they're on this side, they're in the pile. And if they're on this side, they're in the consider tubing. All right, here's a, this is a 29. That is also a Philadelphia. But you can certainly make out the 2 and the 9. It's okay. I'll put that in the OK pile. Oh, I didn't think of any background. That's okay. I didn't think of any background music in a... I don't know if you can do that with OBS. I won't try it, but you can add a source. You probably can have music in the background in OBS. So this one, all right. Have some scratches on here. So I wouldn't say this is a particularly nice one, but stronger date, 1926. And it's a Philadelphia. And it looks like something happened to the buffalo. So I'll put that in the not really pile. All right, 1936. The buffaloes from the 30s, especially 35, 36, 37, 38, they're very, very high mintages, very common dates. But that's a nice one. Let's see if it has a mint mark. It does not have a mint mark, but that's a nice one. Nice condition. I would say you see about half of the buffalo's horn, so that would hit fine, I would say. Yeah, that's a keeper. I like that one. And again, earlier I talked about the details. You start seeing the detail in the feather and more detail in the braid and that ribbon there coming down. Those are pickups for the condition. Likewise, Liberty, the letters at the top of Liberty have pretty much separate from the rim, so that's a higher grade coin. That's a nice one. Okay. Here's a 37. Now, unfortunately, this one looks like it took a pretty big hit there. Boy, I wish that were a cud. Wouldn't that be nice? But that's obviously a rim nick that hit something pretty hard. And, oh, that's a San Francisco, though. As far as surfaces, it's nice. Well, nice, but there are some scratches there. I'm going to put that in the no thanks pile. Okay, 1935. Nicodate leaves a spot in your coins. It does. It does. And that's a Denver. That's okay. I'll put that in the OK pile. Yeah, the question is if you have a buffalo, it's dateless, you put Nicodate on it, it brings up the date, and it's a really, if it's a key or semi-key date, To what point is it considered a damaged coin now because of the nickel date? I don't know. I guess it's all personal preference. All right, we have a 1936 big scratch going across the head of the Indian. Looks like some scratches at the bottom going through the F in Fraser. A nick right there. Kind of been... And it's a Philadelphia. And another scratch going there. And what happened to this poor buffalo right here? Actually, what is that? That's post-mint damage, but... Yeah. Yep. That is enough damage to make me say that goes in the no thanks pile. All right. This looks to be a 1920. Have a little bit of staining up top. Liberty is definitely worn into the rim, but it's a 1920. Philadelphia, some staining on the back. I wonder what this is. That's a stain as well. Which, I mean, makes sense that it's there. And of course, you have to think that in the 19 teens and 20s and 30s, a buffalo nickel would have seen a lot of circulation. So you have to expect things like that to happen. I'd put that in the okay pile. It's not too bad. Another 35. Liberty took a big hit, the RT and Y. But, you know, nice feather detail, nice braid detail, nice ribbon detail. Everything else looks nice. Oh, I got a scratch going down there. And it's a Philadelphia, a scratch going across the buffalo here. Is that a keeper or not? I'll put it in the keeper pile for now. Here's a worn 1936. In fact, the surfaces look a little, the field looks a little pitted. It just could be my imagination. Looks like it took a hit on the rim there. And it's a Denver, a 1936 Denver. The reverse doesn't look that bad. Paul and Cherie are coming up with a metal detecting date, I think. You two should go out to metal detect. 36, I mean, that's okay. I'd keep, I'll put that in the okay. All right, 1924. Definitely well worn, but I can make out all 4 digits in the date. Okay. And that would be a 1924 Philadelphia. It's not a bad one. Again, if my goal is to put aside an average circulated roll of buffalo nickels, then not too bad. Here's another 36. Scratch going across the nose and some scratches on the high part of the cheek. Okay, some scratches in the buffalo's body. There's that little bit of a rim ding right there. At least I think that's the rim ding. Or that is a rim ding. That's funny. Okay, wait a minute. I saw one there. Right? So if you... No, that's different. That's funny. That almost looks like it could be the start of a cud. Because you look at that curvature, there's not a flat mark there. Could be. I don't know. I'd keep that one anyway. I would love to find a nice cud on one of these. That would be wonderful. Here's a nice 1935. Nice details. Very fine. Could even hit extremely fine depending upon the horn on the buffalo. All right, well, not a full horn. You don't see the tip, but it's still a nice coin. That's a Philadelphia. Keep that one. Well, I should keep a list of what the key dates are. The low vintages are. I won't. I'll do that after. Okay. Well, this looks to be a 1919, but look at that ugly scratch going right across the coin. So the reverse looks better than the obverse. A 1919. No, that scratch is enough for me to say no thanks. All right. Oh yeah, Jim. You know, so after World War I and in the 20s, the economy was booming in America. So I'm sure a lot of these saw circulation. Then in the 30s, during the Great Depression, these were probably held on to, and you know, I don't know what 5 cents would have bought you in the 30s. Maybe a cup of coffee? What a nickel 5 cents would. 1934. That's one of the reasons why I like coin collecting. You just kind of wonder what the world was like when these were common coins. All right, that's not a bad one. That's a Denver. 1934. That's a nice one. I'd keep that. I'd put that one in the keeper pile. Ugh. I just talked about a cup of coffee. Looks like this one spent some time sitting in a cup of coffee. Look at that. Gross. 1920. It's too bad. I would normally keep this one. But nickel, while a very durable metal, is one that tends to stain and to retain stain. So who knows where this was. Could have been a Doug one. But looks kind of ghostly. Too bad. 1926. Philadelphia. Yeah. Nope. Here's a 1930. Decent date. Okay, the obverse is certainly worn, but not horribly so. And yeah, just getting back to usage, you wonder how many vending machines these would have put in even after the Jefferson nickel came out, because these would have been, let's see, the last vintage was 38, so 1948, I'm sure there were still a lot of these around. So this is, it looks to me like an S. Yep, that's a San Francisco. So this was minted in San Francisco. And we said the date was 1930. Yeah, that's a keeper. That's a nice one. And yes, okay, I should, and I will go back and look for any varieties. Because I'm sure there are repunched mint marks, repunched dates. I'm sure there are some clashes. This is another 37. Run-of-the-mill buffalo, but in nice shape. There you go. I'd keep that one. Cokes were a nickel back in the day. Yeah. Yeah, I should have looked to see what... I wonder if I can do it now. That's right. Somebody wants to... If you're curious, as I am, if you want to Google what was a nickel... What did a nickel buy back in the 1920s? Yeah, a nickel for a Coke. I bet a cup of coffee was a nickel, or actually, you know, it's probably less than that, and you put down a nickel and left a little tip for the waitress. Wouldn't be surprised if you could get something like a little bag of popcorn or Cracker Jack. Speaking of Cracker Jacks, I'm going to go on again. Well, I don't know if I'll do this live or not, but I have a couple of Cracker Jack related things that I picked up. They're kind of neat. Anyway, 1925. All right. That one's fine. I mean, not fine condition. That one's okay. That one's a good. Philadelphia. No problems. I'd put that in the keep pile. What is this one? Okay, well, got a big hit here on the top of the Indians' noggin. 1929. And a San Francisco. Oh, it's too bad. And I also saw a rim ding there right next to the Buffalo's head. Well, you know what? I'd keep that one. Not crazy about that scratch on the feathers, but that's not a bad one. Yeah, I'd keep that. Like I said, these are average circulated, so I'm not going to expect anything really high detail. Okay, 1936. Not too bad. Yeah, that's not a bad one. Another 1926. And another Philadelphia. That's okay. How are we doing? We've been on for 27 minutes. The CPU is at 11, if you're interested. 11.3% of usage. That's not bad. Still streaming at 60 frames per second. Very good. I'm impressed with OBS. I like it. All right, 1934. Okay, obverse. Philadelphia. I think that would be in the okay pile. Nothing terribly wrong with it. And yeah, as these are just circulated, I just using my hands, not using any gloves or anything. Handful of candy, Tootsie Rolls, they probably, I don't know what the hard candies, those root beer barrels. I inspect for the missing designer's initial, no F. Is that a certain date, or is that just across the board? Like it would just, the dye deterioration would be filled in. If that's what he's referring to, F. That's for Fraser. Fraser, whose wife should have been given the credit for the Washington quarter, but so it's a Denver. So what did I say? It's a 36. I'd keep that one. All right, we have a 1923. 20 dates that don't. Really? Okay, thank you. I'll go back and look. I mean, 20 dates, that's going to be a third of the potential, at least a third of the potential dates for Buffalo nickels. That's a nice one. That's not a bad one. What did we say that was? A 23. Yeah. Okay, a 1929. In the early 60s, I would get 5 green leaves for a nickel. Okay. Is that the use for currency up that way? Hope there are maple leaves at least. Jim, if you don't know, is one of our good friends from Nova Scotia. A place where I would like to visit one day. In fact, if I remember, Jim, you're almost Cape Breton, right? You're way up, unlike Marty. 1920, that's a nice one. Philadelphia. All right, so, whoops. This is what we have left, friends. Probably 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 25 left. So we're halfway there. A loaf of bread and a newspaper, yeah. What do you think? Is that a 26 or a 28? So yeah, if you reference what Paul is American Woodland Relics is putting in the chat, the nickel had the buying power of 50 cents to $1. No, more than that. What does a stamp today cost? It's about 60 cents. A loaf of bread certainly doesn't cost 60 cents, probably like $2.60. Cup of coffee, if you go somewhere, I'm sure it's going to be at least $1 something. I'm not a coffee drinker. Yeah, probably close to $1. 2 smokes, yeah. Cigars, yeah. A 5-cent cigar. Okay, we're going to look at that date. I'm going to guess that's a 26. What do you guys and gals think? That has to be a 6. That's not an 8. If it were an 8, well, no, I'm second guessing myself. If it were an 8, that would mean the top of it would come over there, and that's the ribbon. I don't know. What do you think, 26 or 28? I'm leaning towards 26. Let's see what the reverse is like. I wish this microscope had... Oh, there is a mint mark. Looks like a Denver. Jim, you think it's an 8. Okay. Well, it is a Denver. Got a pretty good scratch on the buffalo's head and its hump. A little bit of a stain coming off the S in United States. But you know what? I'd keep that. I'm going to give a little more latitude towards the mint-marked buffaloes, just because they do tend to be lower mintages. And you can read that. Not sure. Yeah. Well, I'll take a look at a 28 that has a clearer date and see how that last digit's formed. 1937. Denver. Almost a full horn. In fact, somebody would probably call that a full horn. I would not. Well, gee, look at it from this perspective. I wouldn't call that a full horn. But pretty darn close. I like that one. Keep that one. Oops, that's a 1927. I think we already saw that that is a Philadelphia, but that's not a bad one. I think we'll easily have enough here at this rate to put aside a roll of buffaloes with decent dates. 1930, that's not a bad one at all. Will it have a mint mark, though? Will it? Will it? Nope. So Philadelphia, it's a decent one. And there is a 1936. Yes, I'm not sure if it was true in the 20s, but my thinking was the last digit probably wouldn't go over this ribbon, but if you look at the bottom of the 6, it pretty much does, and the top of the 6 pretty much does. So that could have been a 6 or that could have been an 8. And Denver or San Francisco? Boy, that's kind of a funny looking S if you look at the bottom. I wonder if that's a repunched mint mark or an S over S, if there is such a variety. Let's see, now I have to get the cherry pickers out. Hmm. 36S. Is there such a thing? Oh yeah, wait a minute. Wait just a doggone minute. You tell me, friends. All right, so what we're looking at is the Cherry Picker's Guide, Volume 1. And right here, you see right there, 1936 Est, repunched mint mark, and you see the S at the bottom, underneath that S. And if we look at here on the microscope, we'll zoom down into that. So you think that is the S over S? I agree with you. There's something going on there. Oh yeah, there's definitely something there. There's my little pointer. You can even see kind of the trumpeted end, if you want to call it that. The sort of fishtail in the end going up. That's an S over S. I think very clearly that's an S over S. Now, all right, let's go back condition-wise. Oh, that's really neat. So, obverse, that's fine. We've got half of the horn. Found 3 of them. Awesome. And again, some okay. I'd put this at very good. Now, the Cherry Picker's Guide, you can't go by the amounts on here, but they're saying, focus in a bit. They're saying if this were very fine, this would be worth $2, but this variety, which it's a Konica RPM 101, is 25, so I'm going to guess that probably has a little bit of value in it. Boy. Well, I'll tell you, I did not pay. There are 55 in here. I paid about 50 cents per nickel, so I think that one might be, if that's an $8, $10 coin, that's paid for more than a third of what I paid for these Buffalo nickels. That's cool. That's definitely, in fact, that's not a keeper. I might put that aside and give it its own special flip. Nice. Okay. Put that there. Now we have a 1935. Almost identical to the picture in the book, yeah. So this is a decently struck 1935. A Philadelphia. I'd say that's a keeper. At least 10 to 15. That's awesome. That's great. Thank you. Oh, this one's ugly. This poor Indian looks like he got run over by something. 1920, I'm guessing. That is a 0 in the end, right? Yeah. 1920, yeah. Interesting how Fraser really squished that 0 in there. I mean, compared to the width of the 2 and the width of the 9, this looks like it was really skinny. Anyway, 1920, no mint mark. That's going to be in the no thank you pile. Well, again, no thank you. I'm not saying I'm not going to keep them. It's just not going to... They're not going to be in that roll. Okay, we have a 1929. Scratch going down the Indian's temple. Light scratch. Very clear date. Nice detail on the feathers for an average circulated coin. Oh, I'd love for this to have a mint. It does have a mint mark. And that's a pretty clear S. See, now I'm going to be looking at all the mint marks. All right. Looks like it's kind of filled, but at the bottom, but that just could be from where. But regardless, I'd keep that one. Oh, see, now I've got to look up the 1929S now. Lincoln Cents, Shield Nickels, Buffalo Nickels, 1929S. Nope. Well, no known varieties in the Cherry Picker's Guide. That's a keeper. Okay, how are we doing for time? 41 minutes. I suspect we'll be on for an hour. So here we go. We have a 1934. Obverse is not too bad. Philadelphia. Few nicks on the rim, but nothing horrible. I'd keep that one. Next, 1935. Yeah, I expected in this lot there'd be a lot of 34, 35, 36, 37, 38s. Any 35s? Anything to look for in the 35s? Yeah, there are a lot of 35 varieties. Let's see. Get that up there. All right. 35. Let's see what this is first. 35 Philadelphia. There's a double-dyed reverse. Hey, Van Toad. Thanks for stopping by. Hello, hello. Looks like Vantone metal detector. I guess you're a friend from Vietnam? And Marty, hi. Okay, so, we said this was a Philadelphia 35. There are two double-dyed reverses. But boy, the splits are... Okay, let's look under 5 cents. That's where you see the obvious. Hi, Chris. I don't see any doubling there, but that's not a bad nickel. Chris, we just found a S over S mint mark Buffalo. 35, it's a keeper. And here we go again. 1920. It looks to me to be an 8. That's a Philadelphia. Not too bad. No issues there, just wear from circulation. We'll keep that one. And what do we have here? 1929. Got a pretty big nick there and a little bit of a nick there. Yeah, again, why Fraser didn't put the date maybe right there. I guess there's not enough room there. And it would look kind of silly there. Or put some sort of indent. I don't know. Maybe that would look odd too if you put an indentation on the shoulder. All right, 1929, Philadelphia. That's okay. And we have a 1928 with a stain. There was another one that had a stain right there, if I'm not mistaken. Philadelphia. That's funny. There was one that we had. I could have sworn. I'm probably getting the nickels mixed up at this point, but one that had a stain on the head, more or less the same spot, and it had a ding on the rim. No, actually, the other one had the ding closer to the leg. Anyway, because of that ugly spot, I wouldn't keep that one. So I wouldn't keep that one in the roll. Okay, a 1920. Nice bold date. Let's hope it's a... Got some scratches here. Let's hope it has a mint mark. Ah, it does. A San Francisco. Oh, it was on the Buffalo? Okay, Paul. They're all merging together in my brain. It's a nice clear S, too. Nice. So I definitely wanted to go through these live. I have, and I'll do them in the next week or two. Where is it? Oh, somewhere in my office I have a box of wheat cents that are average circulated, but the seller, there are 250 of them, and the seller said that there are some key dates in there, or semi-key dates in there. Paid a little bit more for that one. But I like my wheat cents. I just like this time. I mean, you know, obviously dealing with a Great Depression would have been a horrible, horrible thing. But I'd love to go back to the 20s, the 30s. All right, 1920. So the 20S had 9.7 million minted. Yeah, so under 10 million is pretty good. Under 5 million is probably a key date. Okay. So 1920S, that's a neat one. That's definitely a keeper. Yeah, Ogre. And I hope I'm pronouncing the first part of your name right. I should have had, if I had thought of it, I would have had a list of the mintages, but I do not. All right, here's a 1919. I would have had a list in front of me. I don't. I certainly have them in the references. Okay, well, thankfully, the first two digits are worn, but the last two digits, 1919. Decent Buffalo. Philadelphia. That's not a bad one. I'd keep that. And we have a 1935. Same here, Chris. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Oh, awesome. $1935. And that is a San Francisco. All right, let's look at this again. 35. San Francisco. There is one, I thought. Double-dyed reverse. I'm sorry, I shouldn't just do that. I should show you what I'm looking at. 35S. Double-dyed reverse. DDR001. And one of the pickups is under the top horizontal on the E. Ooh. Wait a minute. Does that look like a little bit of doubling, or is it, is that just wishful thinking? Right there in the E. Because look at, I don't know know if it'll autofocus that. Right there. Might that be that? All right, what are the other pickups? It says underneath the... I almost said elephants. Good Lord. Underneath the buffalo's belly, there's some doubling, but I don't think this is going to show much of anything there. And under the E pluribus unum, hey, Inkman, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Under the E pluribus unum, under the L and U, there's some doubling. So let's zoom in on that, see if we see anything there. It's under the L and the U. Go. Okay. All right. Again, I'm not the guy that tries to see things that aren't there, but is there a little bit of doubling there in the L? I will say it's in the cherry picker's guide, it's pretty pronounced under the U. I don't see anything under the U. I don't know. That's a maybe. Okay, the reason why I guess I'm hopeful is because if it is this 35S Konica DDR, sorry, focus. If this is the Konica DDR001, normally it's 250. In very fine, it's a 200. So if we put this at good, it's going to be worth more than 250. All right, I'm going to put that one aside. Because that's just as it stands, that's a decent buffalo. I'm going to put that one aside. All right, how are we doing? 53 minutes. Well, we have 2, 4, 6, 8. We have about 20 left. I'm sorry, we're kind of sidetracked here with these varieties. 1923, nice obverse. Liberty's nice and clear. 1923. Seeing some details on the braid and the ribbon coming down. Got a few scratches there, but nothing major. Philadelphia. That's a nice one. Let's keep her. All right. Another 1935. Decent obverse. 1935S. Again, let's zoom in on that E. The E in 5. I mean, it looks like in the cherry pickers, that's the biggest pickup point right there, the E in the 5. Okay, so compared to the other one, that just looks like it's a straight horizontal right there. That's kind of gunk. So I think that's just a regular 1935. Right? Yeah. Now. Hey, Danny. Yeah, I am. 55 times. But that's a keeper. I like that one. 35 San Francisco. You know, Dan, I still would love to find a spot that hasn't been hunted out and meet up with you and go metal detecting. I have not even opened, my apologies to Nocta, I've not even opened the triple score. I've not even tested it. I did buy a snake skin for the cable going down to the coil. $1930. San Francisco. And it's nice to see the mint marks because I am in New Hampshire. And if you see buffaloes up here, well, it just the mintages are a testament to that anyway. But you don't really see the mint marks. So, we said 1930, correct? Yeah, 1930S. Anything funky to look for in the 1930S? There's some 30 Philadelphias, 30, 30, 30, 30S. There is a double die obverse. Extra thickness can be easily seen on the date and Liberty. And then there is an RPM. Okay, let's focus in on the RPM. Dan, which one was that? I think I threw some different locations. I think one was either a town park or a state park, which meant we'd have to, strictly speaking, get the permission of the town, but we'll have to chat sometime. All right, repunch mint mark. I don't see anything there that indicates to me that's an RPM. Do you? This is the 30S. The pickups are right there. So to the right of the S, I don't see anything there. In Deerfield, I don't know. But hey, I'd keep that. 1930. All right, 1937. Obverse, not too bad. Look at the B. Is there something going on with that B in Liberty? What I'm referring to is at the top of the B, it looks like it has horns. Yeah, I think it's just worn. Mark, how are you, sir? Great to see you. Again, I'm not actually seeing you, but... And this is a 1937 Philadelphia. Decent reverse. Decent obverse, definitely average circulated. Got a scratch, unfortunately, going down here. But I'd keep that one. Mark, when are you going to get some e-bike videos out? I need them. I like the tinkering, using the tools to whatever, override something. All right, we got a 1920. Decent obverse. Okay, we got a nick there in the rim. Got a little ding there. Nothing major, some very light staining. But again, you think of the use this got back in 1920. 104 years old. Let's see, do we have a mint mark? Nope. Oh, it's a Philadelphia. But a straight 1920, but that's a keeper. And here's another 1937. Say, Danny, I still got to get out and dig. My last video will be Monday the 29th at the pass I'm going so far this month. All right. Better some than none. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to go on here. I don't put a lot of content on my channel. I need to do that more. Mark, I'm editing one now. Good. Should be up by winter of next year. Okay. So winter of next year. So 2025. All right. Mark, you could just put those videos up raw. You don't have to worry about the sound effects in the background, and just put them up. They're enjoyable. All right. 1937, Philadelphia. Decent coin. Yeah, a lot of times the dates get worn, and I'm seeing a lot of the 35s, 36s, 37s, 38s. That's to be expected. but these are decent ones. Like, that's a nice one. And that's a Philadelphia. And the Buffalo's horn, that's not complete, but close to it. That's a nicely struck coin. I certainly put that at very fine. But a 37 at very fine. Well, you know what? I haven't done the math, but a 37 at very fine, I'm going to guess would be a $2 coin, $3 coin. I bought these and they were about 50. They came out to about 50. It was a lot of 55. And I think I've gone through more than 55. I think you may have thrown a few more in there. They came out to about a little over 50, like 55 cents each for 55. Buffaloes. Here's a 1935 Philadelphia. So if you're new to Buffaloes, the mint mark, if there is one, is right there, but there is not one. That means this is a Philadelphia. They were minted in San Francisco and Denver, and those San Francisco and Denmark. Oh my gosh, those Denver. I'm getting tired. Those. If you see a Denmark mint mark Buffalo, that's pretty amazing. The Denver mint mark Buffaloes have lower mintages. They tend to have lower mintages. But that doesn't mean the Philadelphias are not worth looking at. 1935. Let's see. Here, my dad was born. God rest his soul. Let's see. These Buffaloes. Yeah, dates. That's awesome. So here's one that's pretty. It's seen a lot of circulation. Mark says, "My heart has not been into filming much lately. I've been doing other hobbies like computer building, but doing it just for fun." Oh, no kidding. You're putting together a computer. I assume a desktop computer, and I assume a Windows computer, or are you a Linux guy? I will say one of my concerns wasn't a major concern. One of the things I was curious about was how this computer would do. What I have a Mac Mini. It's, if you know about the Mac ecosystem, it's the M1. It's the first generation of their new silicon architecture. They now have the M3, I think. And it's called a Mac Mini because it's probably not much bigger than this book. And I thought it's going to really be, using 30-40% of the CPU power, which is still fine. That's pretty much all I'm doing here. If the app is using 30-40% of the CPU, that means the rest of that CPU has to go towards just the operating system and everything else. But I'm streaming on OBS at 60 frames per second. It is consistently hitting 10% of the CPU power. That is really, really impressive. I mean, I say that because this is this very little. I think I could upgrade the memory in this. That's kind of it. I could upgrade the SSD drive. That's pretty much all I could do. Because it's all enclosed and Anyway, I digress. 1927. European buffaloes. Well, you know what? You get your Canadian beavers. There's no reason why you can't have a European buffalo. And those Danes tend to be pretty nice people. All right, 1927. Rivendell Coins sent you some info via email. Thank you so much. RivendellCoins@gmail.com if anybody needs to get in touch with me. Mark is going with Linux. Ooh, you are a hobbyist. I've been building cyber decks using the Raspberry Pi. A while back I took an IT course, and it was the Raspberry Pi and the boards and the cables and doing things with the input-output pins on the Raspberry Pi and just building different things. I liked it. I liked Linux. What I couldn't wrap my brain around were some of the shell commands in Linux. And I couldn't wrap my brain around integrating it with Arduino. But Raspberry Pi, that's a really, those are pretty cool machines. I still have mine somewhere. I think it's out in the workshop. I should fire it up. So, yeah, Ogre, thank you very much for doing that. That's great. I'll take a look. Jonathan messes up one time, we jump all over it. I don't care. I don't care. If you don't know I'm a teacher, I misspeak all the time. And you have to have a thick skin. You put whipped cream on the raspberries, Mark. Yeah, that's how you cool the CPU down. Because I don't have a fan, you just put a dollop of whipped cream, and it just smells good too. All right, back to the Buffaloes. 27, Philadelphia. Obverse doesn't really have any issues apart from wear. 27 is pretty clear. I'll keep that one. 1930, this one, okay, this one's kind of ugly. We got a nick there, got a pretty major scratch going there. The rim is looking kind of blobby. So 1930, watch this have a mint mark. No, it doesn't. A 1930. And it looks like the poor Buffalo got into a, I'm 99% sure that's a scratch. So let's see if that's a die break. No, it's a scratch. That's definitely a scratch. So, yeah, that would go in the no thanks pile. I saved the whipped cream for something else. Yeah, it really is. Oh, Mark, we're going back again 5 years. Raspbian, is that? I think that's the operating system that I put on my Raspberry Pi. There were others. There was even a hack of Windows that you could put on. I'm not a shell command, DOS prompt command kind of guy. I want to click. I want to see a graphical user interface on a computer. And I don't mind if it looks different, but when I had an old laptop, I put Linux Mint on it. I thought that was a great operating system. In fact, if I get bored, I should do that. I'm sure I can find an old computer and see what the latest iteration of Linux Mint is. There's so many distributions of Linux out there, which is cool. But the downside is if you get, we have a wireless laser printer. Is there going to be a driver for that in Linux? I don't know. But if you're using it just for kind of building something that, just runs things a little differently, learning things a little differently, like OBS, for example, is that on Linux? How would it run on a Raspberry Pi? Be interesting to see. All right, 1924. We got some staining under the chin. We got a scratch right here. It's a Philadelphia. Yeah, I think I'd put that in the no thanks pile. 1926. Scratch there. All right, Mark, you've got to do a live stream. I know you said you don't, and I not to embarrass you, not to get into your personal life, but I think you have a special someone in your life now. I'm sure you're spending time with that person, but you should just live stream sometime, whether it's on the Crap channel or your other channel, and just show us what you're doing. Show people the Raspberry Pi. It's neat. I think I bought mine. Well, I bought the kit, so it came with, like, as I said, that breadboard, the interface cable, LEDs, resistors, things like that. I think the whole kit was $75. It was required for the class, but that's not, compared to what textbooks cost, that's nothing. And it was a really fun course because you and your partner were getting in there in the labs, putting things together, and the professor would say, okay, I want you to do this and use these components, go. And if you made mistakes, it was okay because that's how you learn. All right, 1926. Philadelphia. Ooh, we have a mint mark. What is it? Is it a Denver? Haven't seen too many Denvers in this lot. And this person I bought them from was on the East Coast. What on earth? What do you think that is? I'm going to guess that's a D. Almost looks like an O. Yes, Raspbian. Oh, that's what you're using? Okay. Again, I'm going 5 years back. My son's major was in computer science. My son just graduated with his bachelor's in computer science, and he preferred Linux for some time. At the moment, he's looking into Mac Mini and or the Mac Studio. Oh, the Mac Studio is a gorgeous computer. It's expensive, but when I bought this, I thought, do I want to get this Mac Mini or do I want to get a used Mac Studio? I'm glad I got what I got, but a Mac Studio, that's I really like Apple stuff. I really do. I've always, even from college on, I've used Apple stuff. I like Windows, and like I said, I would take courses and learn. I like learning about Linux and Windows and whatnot, but I've always gravitated towards the Macs. Yeah, and my son wants to do something with oh my gosh, the terms he uses: full stack development. He likes programming in Python and things like that. So he's looking. He just graduated in May, so we said take the summer off, apply for jobs. Don't jump at the first one you see. Find what you like. Get some experience. But in computer science, it's kind of tough right now, supposedly, because they're saying the growth in computer science is huge. But right now, companies aren't really hiring a lot of computer science positions. I'm not sure if that's altogether true. Boy, what do you think? Is that... I don't know if that's a D or an S. I really can't make it out. It could go either way. I'm only leaning towards an S because you see that little divot there. That would be the top of it. And that just, the rim is just worn. If it were a D, I think that divot would be a little more defined, but I don't know. I do not know. Anyway. What's going to happen is I'll put these in a roll. Someday, good Lord willing, it'll be many years from now, but when my time comes, somebody will look at this roll and say, what the heck? I'd keep that one, I guess. All right, 3 more. Raspbian has a GUI interface now. Oh, that's good. I should, yeah. Mark, please go online, do it. Even if it's just a private stream, just show us what's going on. I'd love to see it. I'm working on a smart mirror using the Raspberry Pi. I'm not sure what a smart mirror is. You mean like an actual mirror where you can look into it and say voice commands and do things? I don't know. See, I'd like to know what you mean by that. Danny, I've been just sitting at home in the AC thumping, putting mini Lego kits together. In New Hampshire, the way the weather's been, and I'm sure in other parts, just talk to Paul AWR about what his weather's like down in Georgia. Good idea to sit inside with the AC. I have put 8 together as of now and have 3 more to go. Really? Mini Lego kits. He's thinking of a Mac Mini for the cybersecurity handling of information. Okay. Yeah, it looked like an S to you? Yeah, I was leaning towards an S, guys. Yeah. If it's a 1926S, then it's the lowest minted coin. Oh my goodness. And I just popped it in here too. Was it a 1926? Well. Okay, it was this one. Let's go back and take a look. All right, to me, that does look like a 26. Now I'm second guessing myself. No, I think that's a 28, if that's the one I just looked at. It would be on the top. Oh, I don't know. Is that the one I just looked at with a gouge under the chin? Let me see. Yeah, so that was I think that was the mint mark that I questioned. This seems to me to be a 28. Oh, I don't know now. Again, the eyes and the brain start looking for things that you want to be there. Does that look like a 26 or a 28? I'll leave it there for a moment, and you can tell me in chat. If it's a 26S and it's the lowest minted coin in the Buffalo series at 97. Okay, I've got to look at my old. Let's look at the Mega Red. So, 26S Buffalo. $26S Buffalo. Wow, okay, that is a 26S Buffalo in good condition. If it would hit that, is 25. A catalog price is $25. Oops. The red book. Oh, it's over here. Dummy. 26. Yep, 26S. If you can see this, 26S. 97, yeah, same thing, 25 and good. Well, I'll go through. So, Ogre, you see it's a 26. Mark says it's a 26th. Zoom in more. I can zoom in more if that will help. I appreciate the team effort here. Throw a little more light on it, or maybe a little less light on it now. A little more light on it. I'll rotate it. Yeah, that looks like a 6 when you're looking at it rotated. If it were the 8, I would think that and that would be pretty much even. So I would agree. That looks to me to be a 6. Hello, Hector. Great to see you. How are things in California? Okay, so, I mean, hey, look, it's got a scratch. It has some staining up there. I don't know if that would hit good. And that S is definitely squashed. So I'll put that one aside with the others. Thank you for that. Very hot and clear skies. I went to lunch with somebody today, and I said to her, my mentor teacher from a long time ago. And I say long because I've been teaching for a long time. Or at least it seems it. And she and I were talking, and I said, yeah, I don't mind the heat because it was a good 90 degrees up here with humidity. It was probably, heat index is probably 95. It was a warm day here. And I said, I don't mind the heat, though. I really don't. As long as I have an air-conditioned house and an air-conditioned car and... thankfully I have a garage, so the car doesn't get super hot. It doesn't take forever for the air conditioning to cool it down. And you go into air-conditioned restaurants, air-conditioned stores, I'm okay with it. I wouldn't want to be a linesman or working on a roof in this heat, but I don't mind the heat. I really don't. What I don't like are the crazy winters we get up here in New Hampshire. But I'm New Hampshire born and bred, so I don't know. Maybe the good Lord wants me to stay up here. That's okay. Life is good. I have no complaints. 1935. That's a nice 35. And what do we have here? Oh, look at that. A 1913 first year of issue. That's actually not a bad. Let's see. Condition-wise, it's really not bad. Liberty took a hit. Right there. Couple of minor rim dings. Decent detail in the hair and the feathers and the ribbon and the braid. 1913 is rather clear. Let's see, do we have a mint mark? No, we do not. Wow, that's practically a full horn. 1913, 5 cents. Now you look at the, I think it's interesting how this is the type 1 because 5 cents is on the mound. It's not set in. So let's see. What are the mintages there? So variety 1, 1913, 30,000. Okay, well, according to the Red Book, and again, you can't take these, you knock at least 50% off these prices, in my opinion. It's saying a good Buffalo is $12, very good, which is what I think this would hit, is $15. Oh. This was a good lot of Buffalo nickels. The impression that I got from this dealer is that probably just a whole bunch of them and just reaches his hand and puts them in a little bag like this and sends them off. So 1913. Anyway, so 5 cents is raised, and you can kind of see how this, this is fine, but it started to get worn out, and eventually you'd have a nickel after not too long in circulation, and this would all be obliterated. You wouldn't be able to see it, and the Treasury, the Mint, the engravers, the mint directors, they wanted the denomination on the coin. So that's why they changed that design in 1913. That's a nice one. I like that one. That's definitely a keeper. Boy, I have a nice 1913 slab, so I wouldn't put this. I'd put this in the roll. Somebody someday is going to look at that and go, wow, cool. Granddad did something right. All right, this is a nice 1936. Liberty's, this is the last Buffalo, by the way, friends. Liberty's separated from the rim. Nice detail on the braid, the ribbon, the feathers. Let's see if we have a... That is a Philadelphia, no mint mark, and that is a scratch on the 5. That's nothing. And a 3/4 of the horn. I'd keep that one, definitely. All right, so these are the ones that I thought, conditional issues. I guess I'd put that one in there too. So these I'll put in the bank, in the little bank up there. If you came in late, there we go. It's a Buffalo. It's a cast iron bank. It's a Buffalo bank. I'll put them in there. So I definitely have more than 40 here for keepers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. A roll of nickels is 40, right? 4. Yeah. 2. Second guessing myself. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 30. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 40. 2, 4, 5. Oh, 40. I have 45 here. Oops, 45 here. If a roll of nickels is 40, I'm pretty sure it is. I have enough for a roll, plus 5 extras. So maybe I'll go through these again and take the 5 that are borderline and put those elsewhere. And like I said, these are going to go in the Buffalo bank. Turn. Focus, there we go. So these will go in the Buffalo bank. All right, so keep the piles separate, Jonathan. All right. So here we go. Hector, it's 108 in California? Oh my goodness. And are you in the, I'll say the northern half, I mean the Sacramento north? Or are you south of Sacramento? I don't know, this New Englander, when I visualize California, I think where Sacramento is in north-south. Still, 108, good heavens. If you go out today here and the humidity is so bad your hands get sticky. Yeah, yeah. Really sweet. Yeah, there were some nice ones in there. Ogre says, I'd say you had an excellent bot. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. Very, very. I feel, it's one of those things where I feel bad. Because I got these fairly recently. I don't know, maybe I should just PayPal them or something. Because it's, you know, that 19, oh, there we go. The 1913 Type 1 had 30.9 million. Yeah, that 1913, that's going to be at least a $5 coin. The others that we pulled aside, I'm going to guess 5 to 10. I paid under $30 for this lot, so, and that included shipping, if I'm not mistaken. And again, I felt bad because I think shipping was about $5.99, and he spent $8 on shipping, so I don't know. All right, this reminds me, I was gifted 2 $1 rolls of Buffalo Nickels that are unopened. Oh, ho, ho. Well, well, well. So, Hector, sounds like you have a live stream you need to do. Promote it. I'll be there. I can't promise. I promise I'll do my best to be there. That's the document camera. Put that down. There. If you like seeing the buffs. Let's see. I'd say that coin is album worthy. Yeah, it's a nice. I think you're talking about the 13. That was a nice one. You were gifted them. Nice. No summer school. No, I haven't done summer school in a year. I did summer school when I first started, and honestly, I did it for the money because teacher salaries are preposterous. But after I got to a point, I said, no, the math is a crossover point. You know, when my salary hits a certain point, I'm not doing it unless I absolutely have to. How complete is your Buffalo Nickel album? I do not have a Buffalo Nickel album. I am a type coin collector, and there are some things that I like the design of it, and I thought I'd take the semi-key dates and I'll put those in flips and put them in my coin box, but I don't have an album. I've never, likewise I have, here, this is what I was referring to before. In here are 250 wheat cents that the seller said has some semi-key dates in there, and I think most of them are pre-1945. So I had thought maybe, okay, I'll take that and the other wheats and just get a Whitman folder or something and put it together, but I don't know if I'll do that. We'll see. So no, it's regarding the Buffaloes. I don't have an album. Maybe I should put one together because, I don't know. Why not? Hector, Dead Central, Sacramento is 200 miles north of me, Jonathan. Oh, okay. So Sacramento is way north. See, when I think of California, I'm picturing Eureka as the extreme north. But Sacramento, I thought, was close in that area. I don't know. I guess I need to look at my map of California again. Just north of Fresno. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, so Ogre, next couple of weeks I'll do this again with the wheat cents, but see, here's the thing. We've been on for, okay, now it's an hour and a half, and I do not want to bore anybody. I don't mind if people come in and out because I do the same thing. But it took an hour and a half to get through, let's say, 55 Buffalo Nickels. 250 wheat cents, that's going to take like a couple hours. So I don't know if I'm going to do that live or if I'm just going to go through them and do the highlights. I don't know. Then again, I can live stream, like Paulie WR and I have live streamed for hours at a time. We managed to do it. So my throat hasn't gone dry yet, but I will take a little bit of Gatorade. Eureka is northwest of Sacramento. Okay. So I don't know. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I have, if there are 250 wheat cents in there, at least that's what the seller said. Do I want to go through them live? Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Hector do live. Okay. See, if I do a live, Um, I like this OBS setup. Not that you need to see my ugly mug, but I like having the document camera here with the the bigger picture, and then the microscope so we could zoom in on things because we'd certainly have to do that with WheatSense. But it would be great to have somebody else on here with me to say, hey, that well, kind of like Ogre did with the the mintages and things like that. Because when you're doing this, it's hard to stop and say, okay, let me get my book, let me look up mintages. It's not a big deal, but it would be neat if somebody said, hey, they have the red book open, flip to the page, and Paul did that once when I don't know if Paul's still here, AWR. I don't know if we were looking at Nichols or WheatSense or what, but it was kind of fun having two people here, and one person was sort of like the navigator, reading the maps and all that. So, yeah, maybe I'll do it that way. So, what I'm getting at is if I do that, I'll have to use StreamYard because I don't know if in OBS, I haven't used OBS in about a year. I don't know if you can have somebody come into OBS with you while you're live. I don't think so. Or if you do, that might be a challenging one. All right, well, Paul, I'm going to ask you now then because it worked before. The thing with StreamYard is we could have, I could be on the screen, Paul can be on the screen. We can have the microscope. That's all you really need. Because I can log in a second time with the StreamYard link. Or I can just, actually, no, I think what we probably did, Paul, is I just changed from this webcam to the microscope. I think that's what we did. We went back and forth. That's easy enough to do. But it would be nice to have this always on the stream. So maybe we'll have to talk about that. We'll have to pick our brains and see how we did that. Thank you. That's a great setup. Yeah, oh, thank you. I like it. I was a little late getting on for a couple of reasons. One was OBS changed the go live. Well, OBS didn't. It was probably in YouTube's end. Maybe it was a little bit of both. But there's a button. If you don't know OBS, there's a button where you just press start streaming. And as long as you have your information in OBS, it pops right onto YouTube seamlessly. YouTube does a great job connecting. But I guess with this update, the software update, it needed me to go to sort of refresh my credentials on OBS for YouTube. And I didn't realize that, so I had to do that. So that's one thing. The other thing was at the bottom of the screen, I have a little scrolling thing. I like doing educational stuff with numismatics. And just in case somebody popped in and said, what's a buffalo nickel? You get a little bit of information there scrolling across the screen. So I had to really quickly type something kind of off the top of my head. If I had more time, I probably would have had a longer ticker. So like maybe some of what the semi-key dates are and things like that and what the mintages are. Oh, you know what? You can do that with StreamYard. No, anyway. So anyway, thank you everybody for coming in. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and done, what is it called, the thumbs up and everything else, that would be great if you wouldn't mind doing that, if you liked what you saw. What do I have on the horizon? I have, like I said, I have a couple of other things that I need to do. I'll tell you what, I'm going to commit to it now. I didn't think of it now. I apologize. When we do the live stream for the Sense, we'll have at least one giveaway, hopefully 2 giveaways, because you're going to be hanging out here for a while. But thanks for coming, everybody. It's great seeing everybody in chat. It was fun to go through these. This was really, it was a mystery. I don't know, when I was a kid, in the city where I live, there was a toy store. Back when you actually had toy stores. Kids don't have toy stores these days. I feel bad for them. Well, I shouldn't say that. But a lot of times the toy stores are going to Target or Walmart. This is a dedicated toy store. And they would have, they'd have these big paper shopping bags. And they would probably put stuff that they were trying to get rid of or whatever, and they put them in the bag, and they'd, gosh, going back long, and they'd staple the bag, and it would be like, I don't know, like $3. And you had no idea what you were getting, but you knew you were getting something from the store, and it was just kind of fun. As a kid, you'd open it up and say, oh, look, a rubber snake, a cap gun, and whatever. So, or those rockets that you put the water in, you pumped them up, and then you pulled back, and You get things like that. Anyway, it's kind of the same sort of thing when you buy coins like this. You don't know what you're going to get. And I'm sure, a lot of times you get, depending on the dealer, you could get kind of skunked, and you could spend $30 and get $20 worth of coins. But I like doing this every so often anyway. I think definitely got the money back on this, and I hope I get the money back on the wheat cent. So we'll do that wheat cent thing. I have, yeah, exactly, Paul, a grab bag. See, okay, Danny, take care. Um, so I have three. I also do mailbox prospecting, so I don't go out and find pay dirt, but I like panning pay dirt for gold. So I have three. I have one are the second. They're in a little peanut butter jar right now, a clean peanut butter jar, obviously. But it's from three different pay dirts. It's the so when you pan pay dirt, you should do it at least twice. And I'm not the best at panning, so I have three the concentrates, the leftovers from three different pay dirts, and I need to do that because I know in one of those pay dirts it was supposed to have a gram of added gold, and I only got, I think, 3/4 of a gram, so there has to be some gold in there. So I want to do that. My wife got me some pay dirt for my birthday. Oh, hey, it's doing it again. Okay, on the Mac, there are gestures that it it can pick up on. So if you do peace, it does the balloons. If you do a heart, I think hearts come out. There you go. If you do a thumbs up, and if you do a thumbs down, I think you get rain. Yeah, that's a Mac thing. Um, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, pay dirt. So I have three different pay dirts I have to do that. So I'm going to try to do that this summer. I have the Indian head cents I need to do, and I've got some other things I need to do. So I hopefully will be doing a little bit more streaming. I don't know if it'll be live streaming or if I'll pre-record it and just post it as a premiere. I don't know. But yeah, that was great. Uh, yeah, thank you, Ogre. Thank you for doing that. It was great to have that reference person saying, "Hey, glad to see you all. Great seeing you, Hector and Dan. See you later, Paul. Thank you, and maybe, who knows? Keep checking out the channel, and you'll see something here. And it sounds like maybe Paul and I will be live streaming, and we'll be going through some wheat cents. And yeah, we'll do a giveaway, definitely. I apologize tonight for not having a giveaway. So everybody, take care, and we'll see you later. Have a great rest of your evening. It's evening now. It's almost 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, and we'll see you later.